Why is it that the quietest person in the room often understands everyone the most? It's not a coincidence. Most people assume silence means insecurity, awkwardness, or lack of confidence. But silence is rarely empty. It's processing. While everyone else is speaking, interrupting, trying to impress, the quiet person is observing. Your tone, your word choice, your facial tension, the emotion you tried to hide for a second. They notice it. Because when you talk less, you see more. Psychology supports this. Research on introversion shows that quieter individuals tend to reflect longer before responding. Their brain doesn't just prepare an answer, it evaluates context and subtext. What's really being said? What's the intention behind it? Is this worth responding to? That pause you see before they speak? That's not hesitation. That's calculation. In a world addicted to instant reactions, the ability to pause is rare, and rare things carry power. But here's something deeper. Being quiet doesn't mean their mind is quiet. For many of them, it's the opposite. Their thoughts are layered and constant. There's a trait in psychology called high sensitivity. Around 15–20% of people process emotional and social signals more intensely than others. They notice subtle tone shifts, micro-expressions, and changes in energy. Where most people hear words, they sense meaning. And that level of awareness is exhausting. So silence becomes recovery. Not withdrawal, recovery. Now here's the part most people never consider. Some quiet people weren't born quiet. They became quiet. Maybe speaking up once led to criticism. Maybe their emotions were dismissed. Maybe they learned that expressing too much made them vulnerable. Over time, the nervous system adapts. Psychologists describe this as adaptive silence, when saying less feels safer than saying more. At first, it protects you. Then, it defines you. And eventually, people misunderstand it. But don't confuse adaptation with weakness. Many influential thinkers were observers before they were speakers. Creativity grows in stillness. Insight forms where interruption doesn't exist. Silence is incubation. That's why something shifts when a quiet person finally speaks. People listen. Because their words aren't random. They're filtered, measured. There's weight behind them. Now here's the paradox. Quiet people crave deep connection, but they fear being misunderstood. They don't avoid people. They avoid shallow exchanges. They don't lack opinions. They simply refuse to trade depth for noise. So they choose precision over popularity. And when they care about you, you'll know. They remember small details. They sense mood changes. They listen without preparing a counterargument. That kind of presence is rare. But silence has a shadow. When thoughts stay unspoken too long, they build pressure. Many quiet individuals struggle with overthinking, not because they lack confidence, but because they process more layers at once. There's often a gap between what they feel and what they express. And that gap can feel isolating. Yet that same gap creates wisdom. Because through observation, they learn something powerful. Not every silence needs filling. Not every opinion needs announcing. Not every battle deserves your energy. There's strength in restraint. Think about the calmest person you've met. Did they dominate the room? Or did their presence alone command respect? True confidence doesn't rush to prove itself. It waits. So the next time you meet someone who doesn't talk much, don't assume they lack ideas. Maybe they're measuring the moment. Maybe they're protecting their energy. Maybe they're deciding whether the conversation deserves their depth. And if you're the quiet one, you are not socially behind. You are not less powerful because you speak less. You operate differently. While others broadcast, you absorb. While others react, you analyze. While others compete for attention, You build gravity. The world rewards noise, but it respects depth. And depth doesn't shout. It watches. It understands. And when it finally speaks, it changes the room. Because words explain thoughts, but silence reveals truth. And truth has never needed to be loud to be powerful.